Shall we start the class? Shall we start the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to see the PPT screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So far in module 2 and 3, we were discussing about UML, Unified Modeling Language. So if you get the overall idea what is what and where to use which symbol, that will be easy for you to understand and to remember, and you can design on your own. Say for example, if you take UML building blocks, it's having 4 things, 4 relationships and 9 diagrams. You can count. There are only 9 diagrams, major diagrams. The modified stereotypes and templates, the different versions you can create with the modified combination of different. But the core concepts in UML are, it focuses mainly on 9 diagrams, 4 things and 4 relationships. The 4 things in the sense, the structural things, behavioral things and packages. So the structural means the building blocks. That is, if you create any object-oriented program, the major structural components are classes, interfaces, collaborations, use case interactions, various components, and nodes. So in structural things, again, we have 6 structural elements. So these structural elements will come under things, one of the subcategory structural. And if you take behavioral, we have interaction among the classes and state machine that represents the internal state activities. So behavioral diagrams, we have 2 types of concepts: interactions, interactional behaviors, and state machine behaviors. To take grouping, we'll group different components put together to create a package, complete package, or various components together. Then we can go for annotations. Annotations means we can make notes, we can annotate, we can mark important, unimportant. So the annotations, we have special symbol. So these are the 4 things. And if you take a relationship, we can represent only 4 types of relationships in UML diagrams. One is a dependency. Dependency is represented using arrow mark, using solid lines or dotted lines with direction. And association also represented with same association symbol with arrow marks with one direction or bidirectional. Generalization, we know very well, it is grouping of things. So the generalized, say the various cars, various branded cars like Audi, Rolls-Royce or BMW, all put together will come under motor vehicle or car. So the different brands all come under the same vehicle called car. And realization, that is also represented using logical notation. And diagrams, the 9 diagrams which we can create are class, object, use case, sequence, component, activity, state chart, collaboration, and deployment. So these are the main components in any UML. So they given you the detailed, it's taken from the textbook only. So if you take this is the overall concept. Basic building blocks of UML is we have 4 things, 4 types of things, 4 relationships, and 9 diagrams. The same thing we saw in the 4 things like structural, behavioral, grouping, and package, annotational. Relationships, dependency, association, generalization, realization. Diagrams, class, object, all those things. So if you understand this thing, you take again the 4 structural things, in structural only we have class, interface, activity, use case, component, and collaboration. And one more major subdivision is static components and dynamic components. So we need to understand which will come under static, which will come under dynamic. So these are the minor things, internal things which we need to consider while drawing the diagram. Say association, the student is associated with the university. So this is the association. The association is every student is attending to the university. They are going to the university. So the student is one class. It is class diagram. University is another class. So the relationship between this class and that class is the student belongs to the university. So this is the association symbol. No direction. If you want now, we can make bidirectional or one directional, or we can put the multiplicity 1 to 1. One student n number of students belongs to one university. N to 1, many to 1, or 1 to 1, or n to star also we can specify. And generalization, this is the symbol. We'll have the triangle, polo triangle. Student is a person. All students, UG student, PG students, scholars, all different types of students, all aggregated together. They will come under the category. They are human beings or persons. So generalization. We are generalizing the different types of cars or belongs to the 4-wheeler, like that. And realization, so we will realize, say the cashier belongs to the bank, or a teacher belongs to an class or course, like that. A student is he will have its own special role. He may be the class representative of the class, or he may be the top ranking student of the class. So we'll have some specific or realization role will be, it's a interface classes. Say the one element guarantees to carry out what is expected by other element. Say for example, the class CR, he is the representative of all the students. Whatever the problem is occurring in the class, the person who brings the information to the department or to the faculty, the CR is the main responsible person. He is the main, so the realization, he is a typical example who is responsible for all the activities in the class, like that. So realization, he is a representative of the remaining students. And dependency can be represented, say here the same arrow mark with the direction, and the role of the person is represented within the greater than symbols. So it is, so we are representing the dependency. The student, Harry is a student. He belongs to the class student. The class is student. Here, Harry is an object. So the student belongs to the particular class. So the dependency between the object and class is represented using dependency. So these are the main notations: association, generalization, realization, and dependency. And you need to differentiate between the structural components and behavioral components. So just now we discussed behavioral diagrams and interaction diagrams. So the activity diagram, use case diagram, and state mission diagram, and the interaction diagram, these 4 diagrams will come under behavioral diagrams, or that will represent the behavior of your overall system. If you want to represent the behavior, internal behavior or external behavior, we will go for the behavioral diagrams. And to represent the class or profile or package or object, we will go for structural diagrams. And within the interaction diagram only, we have sequence, communication, interaction, and timing diagram. So these 4 diagrams will come under interaction diagram only. We already discussed activity diagram represents the internal activity, and state mission diagram represents the external behavior of your function. So this main difference between structural elements, they have to use, say based on the scenario, you have to draw the, or based on the given problem or case study, you need to identify which diagram can represent the scenario properly. So if it is representing an internal behavior, then you should go for activity diagram. If the given case study is representing the external behavior of the system, then you should go for state machine diagram. Or if you want to represent only the classes or objects or functions, in that case we'll go for structural diagrams. So the package symbol is this symbol. So we'll use the overall full package, a system with so many front-end tools, back-end tools, internal functions. We'll call it as package, complete package, all the databases, everything. And the note symbol is represented. So if you want to give us some special note or some description, so that corresponding symbol is a rectangle symbol with folded corner. So here, this symbol we are using in component diagram. So to represent then overall deployment diagram, we can go for this package symbol. So the various symbols we already discussed: association, generalization, and realization, dependency. So these are the notations that you should remember. Then one more thing is, so we know class diagrams will have 3 divisions, and interface diagrams will use the interfaces, and in use case diagrams we will use the users and the cases. Activity diagram we will use the classes. Component diagram we'll use this symbol, and nodes will use this. I think any doubt in this? Any doubt related with the UML?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, shall we go to the design part? So what are the things, we have so many open source softwares related with that can be used to represent the UML diagrams. So by using those tools, what are the things we can do now? We can draw the UML diagrams. After drawing the diagram, you can generate the corresponding code also. That will create the corresponding code in C++, Java, or in Python. Even in star UML, as well as star UML, you can create the corresponding code. Once you design the diagram, then you can generate the code. Then document generation and reporting. So that will give, based on the diagram, it will generate the document also, project report. So what are the classes we are using? What are the functions? If you draw the state diagram or activity diagram, that will represent the function. So the module description we can generate. So this is the function. This function is having these components and objects. And what is the operation performed internally in the activity diagram? The corresponding report writing can be done using the open source tools. And we can scale. Scale means how many functions are there, how many objects are there, how they are interacting, what is the size of the code, everything we can estimate. And entity relationship diagrams for the same UML diagram also you can create. So if your diagram, if your project is using so many tables or databases, so in that case, to represent the tables and database components, you need to draw the entity relationship to represent the queries and constraints. So the constraints will have the data control and machine control operations that we can create using the tool. So if you are using a UML rational rows, so that will provide you all these options. And the latest version of UML is UML 2.x standard and supports UML. All the diagrams we can create. And we can create the corresponding database schema also. So what is the schema? What is the schema? So we are using a database designer, DBMS. So we'll have first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, voice code normal form, fourth normal form, and fifth normal form, 5NF. So we will eliminate the duplication. We'll go for redundancy. We can create the primary key, foreign key, and any duplicate values and constraints that can be eliminated. So once everything is done, then we can create the schema. So the structure of your table. So we can create table, we can add table, and we can delete the table also, modify the table also. We can add values into the table. We can create reports. So based on that, you can create the corresponding query also, query language. So these options are available in, if you are using Rational Rose original version, Unified Modeling Language, various options. So once you are clear with the diagrams, you can automatically create the code also. So any doubt? And I will share this PPT also. It is additional one only. So from this you can get extra points. So the main advantages and disadvantages of using UML diagrams to design your project. So if you go through these diagrams, then you will come to know easily how the class diagram will look like, and how it is different from object diagram, and how the use case diagram will look like this. Then this is interaction diagram, this collaboration diagram, structural diagrams, activity diagrams, starting state and end state, component diagram, and deployment diagram. So these are the 9 main diagrams in UML. So these are the versions when it is created UML, and during 2013 onwards, we have 2.5, and we have now updated version also. And where we can make use of this UML, which kind of projects we can draw the diagrams means, so we can implement fragmented components, unified components, standardization is done. So it will obey with the company standards. So a standardized diagrams can be universally accepted, industrialized diagrams can be created using UML. So any doubt in UML, shall we move to the design part? So I will share these UML concepts, go through the content. So if you have any doubt, you ask me, because your unit 2 and unit 3 is based on UML concepts. Okay. Any doubt in UML? Shall we move to the next? We'll discuss some scenarios. Are you able to see the PPT screen?
Why
The screen is
use
visible
UML?
to you?
Why use UML for designers? We're able to see that.
Yes. Is there any doubt in this? What is UML and other components? So it's not nothing complicated to understand. It's very simple. It's a design tool we can create based on our project, because nowadays whatever project we are creating is we are using object oriented main languages only, like C++, Java, and Python. So if it is object oriented language, we should go for UML representation only. So if you go with UML representation, if you use a standard UML representation, we can create even code also, we can create reports also, and we can generate schema and tables, everything we can create using those options are available in Rational Rose UML. In some other say in a star UML also, we have option for creating the code, we have option for creating the reports. In some other versions like Agri UML also, we can create the ER diagrams, we can create the coding. So there are so many open source softwares and trial versions as well as paid versions are available. You can make use of it. Okay, now we'll discuss some case studies, scenarios. Yeah, the PDF file is visible to you. PDF file is visible to you, Kritika? Are you able to see this? PDF file is visible?
Oh, ma'am, we are able to see the folder.
Only folder?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the PDF is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, now we can discuss the same UML components using some practical. So we'll take some scenario or case study or the problem statement. Based on the problem statement, we'll discuss how we can represent. Okay. So the PDF file is visible to you now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we know very well the UML concepts will come under object-oriented programming. So in object-oriented programming, design, analysis as well as design, it's totally focuses on classes and objects. So we know very well what is class, what is object. Class is nothing but the declaration part, and objects are the members of the class or instance of the class. So we have different, and we can represent abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, everything using object orientation. And we know very well. So if you go for the design of any object oriented concepts, we'll go for object oriented analysis, then we'll go for object oriented design, because once we focus on object orientation, we should make use of the object-oriented analysis and analysis methods like functional specification, non-functional specification, everything we should do focusing on objects. And the same way we should focus design also, we should go for object-oriented design techniques and methods and tools. Then the implementation coding also, we will go with object-oriented programming languages like C, C++, Java or Python. And so everything is UML is totally focusing on object orientation. So in the object oriented design, UML plays an important role because it is the standardized notation or design tool used for object oriented things. So we know very well UML is having the building blocks, and it's having rules to connect the building blocks. We need to consider the common mechanisms. Are you able to see the PDF file? The PDF file is
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we need to focus on everything based on and in our syllabus also we are focusing on UML only. So so we will take the UML as a tool based on UML specification, syntax and semantics. We will go for the design. So we already discussed UML is focusing on things, relationships and diagrams. Things we have structural, behavioral, grouping and annotational things. And so the structural things are classes. This is the class notation. Any class diagram will have three components: class name, attributes and operations. And interfaces will have the interface name, and the subcomponents will be specified. Operations will be specified. Interface define the set of operations and specify the responsibility of the class. So in interface, the interface component is like this. So the interface name will be specified, and this interface belongs to which class, that also specified. And collaboration, so one component is collaborated with another component, that will be represented using this notation. And if you take use case diagrams, we are using oval symbols to specify the various functions. Within oval symbols, we will specify the function like login, register, post, student, like that. Each and every function will be represented using this oval symbol. And components will be represented like this. So it means we are having subcomponents all put together, we form a main component. And nodes will be represented like this. And the messages or in between the interaction diagram, So the messages are giving the description about the interaction. So here one class, another here another class. So these two classes, student is associated with the university, and so how the data is flowing, that is specified. In state machine, we'll use the rectangle symbol with the curved lines, curved corners. So the state that represents this symbol should be used to specify the functions. So in state machines, we should use this symbol only to state the various transactions or various functions in your process. And grouping of things, we are using the package symbol. So it will look like suitcase. So we'll have the package. So the complete package will have so many internal components. And you take note, so we are using the curved corners. So that is used to specify some description about your process. And we already discussed 4 relationships. So the relationships, 4 relationships are dependency, dotted logical flow, and we have association, how the functions or classes are associated with each other. We'll use solid lines, and the generalization. So we will use the hollow triangle, and realization. Here also we'll use. So it means a strong relationship. And diagrams we discussed. We have a class diagram. So 9 diagrams. So now we'll see how we'll take a scenario, and in classes, how the class should be represented. So we'll have this is the complete structure of any class component. So we'll have the class name. So the name of the class should be specified. Then we'll have the attributes. Within attributes, we'll specify the access specifiers or visibility. Like public means we'll use the plus symbol. Protected means we'll use a hash symbol. Private means we'll use minus symbol. So the same notation is used in star UML, VLabs, as well as in rational rows UML. And operations also, the third component specify the operations. So public function plus, private functions minus, and protected functions hash symbol. So functions will end with opening and closing brackets. So we'll have 3 main components. If you want additional, we can have extra component also. So that represents the responsibilities, what are the actions we are performing, any constraints, any node, that can be stereotypes, that can be added within the class component also. But the 3 sections, 3 rows are must for any class representation. Say for example, here we are representing a student class. So the class name is student, it is underlined. The first letter should always start with capital letter. And public variable name, and we will have the colon followed by type of the variable. It is string type, integer type, string type. And this variable is protected variable. So we are using hash symbol. This section variable is private variable. So we are using minus. The same way we have functions. All function names with will end with opening and closing bracket. Public function, private function, and protected function. And interfaces are represented using, say, the student application. He is interacting with another, one class is interacting with another class, or one object is interacting with another object. That is represented using interfaces. So say for example here, this is a collaboration representation, group of responsibilities. Say in use case diagram, we'll specify the function names: login process, display process, end process, add process, credit process, debit process. So this is a collaboration of activities. Additional components can be used for clarification. So the name of the collaboration should be represented. So it is mainly used in use case diagrams. Say the registered student, it is one function, name of the collaboration. So if you want additional things, that you can write within the oval symbol itself. And one more notation is actor symbol or end users. End users or actors are represented using stick figure. Is there any doubt so far? Are you able to see the PDF file? Any doubt? Are you able to see the PDF file?
Yes,
Spark,
ma'am.
yeah. Shall we have one poll now? So if you so we are using the actor symbol. Okay, I'm posting a poll. The screen is visible to you.
Ma'am, the PDF screen is visible.
Which screen is?
PDF.
Yeah. So I will launch and poll. Okay, I'm launching a poll. Answer the poll. Can you able to see the poll?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you answer the poll. So an actor can be defined as an, so in use case diagrams, we are using actors and use cases. So actor is an human being. So we are using the stick figure for actors. So what is the role of actor? So it will represent only the internal, he will access only the internal operations or external operations or both. Only 50% people answered. Can anyone explain what is use case diagram and what is why we are using the actor figure in use case diagram? Suryavardhan, can you explain where we are using the actor figure in use case diagram? What is the role? What is actor? Who are all the people will come under actor? What is the role of actor in use case modeling? Can anyone explain? Abhilash, Achal Singh, anyone? Ayappa? And we had a fifth semester class teacher, fifth semester class handling teachers and class teacher meeting. So in that we discussed we'll have 10 minutes presentation and explaining the concepts. Then we should have some polling or we should conduct some MCQ so that we can get an idea whether the students are understanding the concepts or not. And the students will also get some interaction and they may not get bored. And if they are asking questions, we can answer their queries or we can explain. If they are not answering, we need to conduct poll or we need to conduct some, and end of the session, we need to conduct or through Google Classroom, assignment or MCQ. Ria Karp, anybody can explain what is use case modeling, because we were discussing about use case modeling and UML diagrams for the past 2 weeks. Are you able to see the screen? Yeah, 59% they answered internal. An actor can be defined as an internal or external entity that interacts with the system. So 59% they answered for option A. 25% for option B, internal entity, and 16% for external entity. So which is the correct answer? Are you able to see the result?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what is the answer? What is the answer? So an actor can be defined as an internal or external entity that interacts with the system. So any end user admin or the end user can access the system which is performed internally or externally. So you go through the material of PPT as well as the PDF, and I will share one more PPT also based on UML concepts and diagrams. So if you have any doubt, we'll have the doubt clarification in the next class. If no doubts, we'll proceed with the next topic. So are you able to see the PDF screen, PDF file?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can able to see the actor now. So an actor is a stick figure used in the use case modeling to represent the interaction between the user and the system. So the system will be having so many internal operations as well as external operations, like taking the mini statement or taking the balance statement or changing the password or changing the mobile number. So like that we'll have as well as internal operations like update, credit and debit process, checking. So everything the end user can access based on his based on the rights given to him. If he is admin, he can access all the components. If he is an end user, he can access his account details. So you should remember that stick figure is mostly used in use case diagrams as well as in state chart diagrams. So the state chart diagram will start with an user, how the user is interacting with the system in various stages. And we are using another notation called initial state notation. So the starting state of the state diagram as well as activity diagram will start with the initial state. So this is the symbol used for initial state. And in the case of activity diagram, we are using one more special symbol called final state. So the end of the process or end of the state or the transaction is represented using the final state. So this is the notation. We'll have two circles. The internal circle will be solid. And we have active class notation. So this is the active class notation. So the class name, attributes and functions. And this is the component notation. So these are the symbols. And node is represented like this. So like box, a three-dimensional box will be used to represent the node. So the nodes are, it may be servers or the end user terminals or nodes. And if you take the interaction diagram, so the interaction diagram will have vertical divisions, column-like structure. We will have these functions and the initial state. So within this domain, what are the operations? So the operations performed along with the first function is represented. First function, second function, third function. So the process starts, it accesses the first function, then it goes to the second function, then it goes to the third function. And what is the input to this? What is the output produced from this? And how it is given to the next level and coming back. So the interaction diagram should be represented by using these notations. The same way, you take a state machine diagram. So we'll have the starting state, end state, the various interactions. So we'll have, say for example, it is to represent the ATM transactions. So if you want to access an ATM machine, I will go to the ATM machine. Then we'll insert the card. Then it will display the message, welcome so and so. Then it will be in ideal state for a few minutes. Then it will ask you to insert the PIN number. You need to enter the PIN number. If the PIN number is correct, then it will go to the here. It is an intermediate state. This is the initial state, intermediate state. It is the final state. If the PIN number is correct, then it will go to the selection menu. You can select the menu as credit, debit, balance sheet, other operations, or change of password, change of reset pin, all those options will get. Based on the selection of your credit or debit process, then it will get the confirmation, the transaction will be done, then it will go to the end state. If your PIN number is wrong, if the password is wrong, then it will go to the end state directly. So we have starting state, end state. These are the sequence of activities. So this is a state machine diagram. So the state machine diagram, we have starting state and end state. These are the diagrammatic representations. So we'll use the curved rectangles or curved squares. So within that, we'll specify the function names, and we'll have the association symbol. We'll have the starting symbol, end symbol, decision making, and branching. And the descriptions, labels are used to explain the additional concepts. The same way, we have package diagram. So we'll have the package name. Inside the package, we'll specify the various components. So this is the symbol. A suitcase-like structure will be used to represent the package. Package is collection of components. And we are using note symbol also. A note is shown below the. They are used to provide necessary information about the system. So if you want to give any note, when it is created, in which version it is, who is the author of the particular design. So that can be specified using the note notation. And we already discussed relationships like this, all those things, dependency. We have notations like dependency, association. We have generalization. Generalization is used to represent the child, parent-child relationship, parent class and child class. So we'll use the generalization. So we can use the stereotypes, tagged values, as well as constraints. So here stereotypes, we can specify constraints. So what is the constraint? Like selling volume is T in months. How many months, within which month we sold this many products, and tagged values. Say it is model number, that is version 1, 2, 3, when it is created, what is the date, who is the author, all those specifications. You take the behavioral diagrams, we have behavioral diagrams like use case diagrams, sequence diagrams. These are the behavioral diagrams. So each one is having its own role. So there is a minor difference between each and every diagram. So the state diagrams will represent the external behavior, activity diagrams will represent the internal behavior. And the structural diagrams, components, we saw 4 structural components like declaration part, classes, objects, component, and deployment. And the UML diagrams, we have 9 UML diagrams. So these are the basic components. So if you go with the original version of rational rows, the rational rows will have the edit menu like this. So we'll have all the diagrammatic aspects like browser, window, where we can draw the thing. And we'll have the diagram toolbar. We can choose all the diagrammatic toolbar, class diagrams, object diagrams, all those things. And documentation window for blocked and floating. So we can change the properties, we can assign the names, we can modify the attributes and functions that we can do here. And all our say the project and subcomponents, diagrammatic representations, logical views, and diagrammatic views, everything will be listed for our particular project. So here this is the design window. So we'll have in the UML, we'll have these components. So each component is having its own rules. So generalization, association, realization, so the interface, class notation, nodes, text. If you want to add text, we have to use this pointer notation, anchor notation. So these options, toolbars are available in UML rational rows. So this is logical window. And the diagrams, various symbols, how to select the diagrams and how to draw the content. So that will give you an idea where to start, how to design, how to complete the diagram. So they taken a scenario, use case they taken, and for the given scenario, they draw the diagram. So we will tomorrow or next class we'll draw the activity diagram and state chart diagram using virtual lab or using Star UML. Okay. So I will share this user manual by changing, editing the content so that you can easily understand the design part also. I will share this as well as the another other PPT also. Then you will come to know the internal aspects. So if you go to the actual exercise, they given you a case study. Say for example, so if they want to ask you some system, they will give you a scenario like this. And for the given scenario, you need to draw the diagrams. Say here they given some scenarios like this diagram is for this diagram is sequence diagram is drawn for the given scenario, like the specification is given here. Say the task is consider the following specification and draw the interaction diagram for the corresponding event specification. So here they given the given case study as for the hotel guest search available rooms. So it is a hotel system or hotel reservation system. So here a guest can search for the available rooms, make a reservation, and up to 2 reservations are possible for each guest. So he can reserve for maximum 2 rooms or 2 bookings. Confirm reservation, cancel the reservation. He can perform the operations like he can confirm the reservation, he can cancel the reservation or pay the money through the credit card or through bank transfer. So these are the operations. And so here we have 3 people, guest, hotel manager and the system. So the guest can book for a room. He can maximum do 2 bookings. He can confirm, reserve and pay the money through net banking or online transfer. And we have another actor called hotel manager. After reservation list, remember so he can he can alter the room list and he can add new rooms to the system. Change the room details, specifications and other facilities. Remember, so these are the responsibilities for hotel manager. And the overall system, maintain the rooms of the reservations of the database, interact with the external payment system like a guest payment, apply discounts for long stays, unpopular and a year and for VIPs. So these are the VIP reservation, normal reservation, regular users. So these are the other special versions. So here the given case study is draw the use case modeling for hotel reservation system with the 3 users and the following functions. The same way another scenario also they given collaboration diagram for railway reservation system. So here also the user can reserve for the ticket, he can cancel the ticket, he can change the first class to second class or AC to non-AC, he can reschedule, we can pay the money through online net banking, you can get the I-ticket as well as E-ticket. So these are the various functions are given. The same way another case study is given for student registration. We have to draw the sequence diagram. The second interaction diagram is collaboration diagram. So here the student registration process. So like that some case studies are given. If you go through the same way, we have another case study called online library management system. So the various actors and the role, responsibility, everything is given. For that also we can draw. So it is an user manual only. You can they given you more than 20 to 30 use cases, 30 more than 25 scenarios and case studies, and how to draw the diagrams for various scenarios and case studies. The same way we have student registration system, and this is for online transaction as well as library management system, video store like Amazon or like that. So yeah, I will share this also with you. You just go through the content. If you have any doubt, you will ask me in the next class. Otherwise, tomorrow we will design the sequence diagram and the state chart diagram using virtual labs. This manual and the PPT I will share. You just go through the content. You ask me tomorrow. So they given you some task also like class diagram which deals with the railway reservation, as well as the object diagram for ticket booking module, and class diagram to draw the hotel reservation. So this is a deployment diagram. So in deployment diagram, they given you, okay, answer your attendance in the chat box. Are you able to see the PPT screen? Please answer your attendance for the 3 to 4 session. They given you one more scenario like online library management, and one more component diagram which is a hotel reservation. Okay, any doubt? Shall we, you go through the content? Any doubt, you ask me in the next class. And tomorrow we'll be having a small poll as well as MCQ. This week we'll have MCQ. Instead of assignment, we'll have 5 or 10 as MCQs. You need to take the MCQ. Okay, any doubt? Shall we end the class? Swati?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, all of you answered?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, shall I end the class?
Yes, ma'am.